How is everyone doing tonight? Morning here down under. Welcome to the party. Yeah, it is a good night for me right now. It's almost midnight. I'm on the East Coast. I'm near Orlando in Florida. But happy to have you all the way in Australia. If you have any questions, want to learn anything, go over anything TA-wise, let me know. Feel free to pick my brain. I got a free link to our Discord. I just added it in the comment section. It's pinned, so if you guys want to join for free, you are more than welcome to come join our family. Harmony, ooh, yeah. I made a video about Harmony. Definitely a big fan of the project in general. Let's do a little walkthrough of Harmony since we're here together. Yeah, so we're still ranked 83rd. You have a lot of coins, but I want to say there is a burn initiative with Harmony. Yeah, this is the one with the guy from UPenn. Yeah, Harmony has a lot of use case and a lot of backing from institutional people. Let's do a little pop. Start with a 4-hour, get the large scale. The one thing I see that's a little disturbing is this massive sell-off volume candle. Now, if it does pass under this line, So 6 cents right now is going to be my major support for Harmony. If it does break under that, you could see it break down possibly under into the 5 cent region. If it wants to push all the way down to where it has before, it's just a little short, a little shy of 4, like the high 4s. Historically though, it still has a little bit more of a drop available. It can go all the way down to 3 cents if it really wanted to. Now it all depends on what the market actually wants to do. Everything is dictated right now by Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin wants to come down and it brings total market cap down, then everything is going to be going down as well. Yeah, if you bought a bag the other day and you didn't buy all the way up here, for example, then you should be fine, especially in this region. It might come down a little bit more, but for a long-term hold, you'll be good. And the upside on Harmony is really high, so even to break out of its channel, you're looking at 10 cents. So if you let it drop a little bit more to the 5 cent region and get another DCA buy-in or something like that, you could double by the time you're getting out of the channel. Now, once it holds on top of this channel, that's when I'm going to dictate that it's a bullish move. And it goes all the way up to the 20 cent range, all the way up to 22 cents. So even to buy in from a point right now, let's say it's 6 cents or 7 cents, you're looking at a 3 to 4 times move going up just to test all-time high. So the potential is definitely there. And you're only sitting at a $680 million market cap. So a 10 times move would put it at a $6.8 billion market cap, which isn't that much. Now, theoretically, it could get to a $15 to $20 billion market cap and still be realistic. So you're talking about a 30 times move from current price if it wants to get to its peak and get into the top 20 tokens, for example. But I do like it a lot. I have a little bag of Harmony as well. It's one of the ones that I actually held on to through this little dip. Harmony, Elrond, Vet, Luna, and Dot, and Link were the 6 that I kept through this little bear market. Luckily, I got a lot of them out at the top, like Matic, but now we're just sitting around doing more futures trading, taking advantage of shorts, keeping the liquid money in USDT, that kind of stuff, instead of playing the long-term hold game. Let's see what market cap is looking like at the moment. Yeah, it's definitely not a pretty sight for market cap right now either. The STO is coming down from overbought. The RSI is still in bearish, barely wanting to hit the 50. The volume is lacking. You hit a major SR flip resistance, triggering a sell. Now with this, I'm waiting to see if we can tap this 1.24 line. If we can hit this 1.24 area, even drop a little bit lower, I could probably get a couple opportunities to get into trades, being long or short. I don't know yet. We're kind of just waiting to see what it wants to do in this general area. Now looking in the past, all of this is a high area of volatility. And you're talking about when we're getting a little bit further down into here, it can become more volatile, and it can go all the way down, for example, to 871 billion if it really wanted to. Do I think it's going to? No. More than likely, if it really wanted to come down, we're gonna just love tap this 1 trillion area, come under 1 trillion, and then it's gonna come skyrocketing back up. I mean, the catalyst right now for any sort of bull swing up is to release some of the FUD. There's conspiracies going with everything, but you got to remember the media outlets and everything are ran by these major companies, so they can dictate what kind of news and information we're getting. Now, if these people are constantly pumping out bullish news, then we're going to get a bullish sentiment in the market. But as of recently, all the news that we've been getting in the market has been bearish, which is kind of signaling that the institutions want in. They're just trying to bring the price down, and they increase the FUD. And the longer that they let this go on, the more likely that people are going to start getting out, because the FUD starts kicking in more. You don't want to be invested in this market that's going down. You start to feel like you made the wrong choice. So it's a psychological warfare kind of game. And then when you least expect it, like for example, these massive candles that you see here, this is a major point. I remember this specifically, watching this come down and saying to myself, oh shit, I might have to get out of all my trades because this thing does not look like it's going to be stopping. This was my major support and a critical support that I didn't think it was going to break, and it came down. Once you get stuck in that psychological zone, it's really easy to get taken advantage of, and that's why we always say you don't want to become a billionaire's lower wick, because when you think that everything is going down and your adrenaline starts pumping, chances are the banks are waiting on the other side, ready to buy those positions that you're selling off. Now, I think if we were to get some more positive news in terms of Bitcoin, that could turn it. Like, all this China news is bad, and I know a lot of people think that the El Salvador news and everything like that is bullish, but it's definitely not bullish in my opinion. I would lean more towards the bearish, because what they're trying to do is destabilize the US dollar, because the US dollar is the reason why their currency is so devalued. So by taking on Bitcoin and these other companies, what's up, Matt? So by taking on these other coins like Bitcoin and everything like that, they're going to be destabilizing the US dollar, which is a bad incentive for the US, which is why we're starting to pump all this FUD information, because they didn't want everyone to start taking their money from US dollar and moving it into Bitcoin or USDT or any other stable coin for that matter. Yeah, DCAing is definitely the way to go, especially in a market like this. You just don't want to get caught with your pants down. You know, I know a lot of people that were buying in Kylan. Me, for example, I had a nice little bag of Kylan, and next thing I know, it dropped down, 40-50% in the matter of a week. And I was kind of pissed because I didn't have enough money. Well, I didn't want to put more money into it because I didn't DCA correctly, and I was saving that money to invest in other projects. So I ended up kind of burying myself in that. It's not the worst case situation. I could have bought at the top and been sitting, minus 80%. Instead, I'm only sitting maybe minus 25% at the moment. So it's something that can be easily recovered. But if I would have done proper DCA, that is a situation that I could have easily avoided. Let's make this a little more exciting. Bring this down to a 15-minute greaser. Let's see what's going on here on the short term with market cap. See, we still triggered a sell signal at the bottom, which is concerning. And I guess another thing we can talk about, since we're talking about the catalysts, when you're talking about institutions buying in and grayscale and all that stuff, it is bullish for the long term, but it's bearish in the short term, because they're going to want to drive price down for their own, however they want to go about it. But these guys just want to make the money off of you. So if they can give you some bullish news and you start throwing money in, and next thing you know, price goes down, and you're like, well, that's a shitty idea, and you take your money out, the next thing you know, they're going to buy all of those prices that you were trying to sell at for the low, and they got a better buying opportunity, perhaps the opportunity they actually wanted. I think it's something crazy like 80% of the entire crypto market is leveraged right now. So you're talking about most of it being borrowed money and putting buying and selling pressure on certain sides of the market. So if I, was a millionaire and I could do a 10 times leverage on $1 million trade, and that's wipe my ass money, then that means that I can potentially run a $10 million trade on a short with Bitcoin and put tons of selling pressure on the price of Bitcoin right until the point that it hits almost a short squeeze area, but it's a setup short squeeze. Then I can pull out my short, and price is going to explode the second I take that short out and add my long position, and I just made money going up and down. I talked about this also with the guys in the Discord group, which, by the way, the Discord group, if you're in this YouTube live stream, I left the link in the description in the comment section to join our Discord group for free. But in our Discord group, we did talk about a lot of this stuff. And it's usually a trending topic in our group every day, to be honest. I was talking about this on Instagram a little bit earlier, but was there anyone that got into the Meta Hero trade a couple days ago? I think it was like on the 12th I released a video on YouTube for Meta Hero, and by yesterday I had gone up 110% and ended up taking out my initial investment, sitting it out on the house money, making sure that it's all risk free from this point on, because even if it went crashing down to zero, I don't care. But it was a great steal, so I'm curious if anyone did jump on that trade as well. Uh-oh, Dogecoin getting some positive sentiment. Let's peep this chart. Are we gonna have a position to enter? I'm looking to get into some fun stuff. Yeah, we are getting a buy signal on Doge on the 15-minute as well. The hourly has not triggered a buy, but we are starting to see a green turn. We pushed all the way down to the 17-cent area. This thing has been in more of a free fall than most projects. So we're going to put this here, and I'm going to watch this on a short term because I might want to enter this trade. Hopefully by the end of the night we'll get some good action. If you want to really be safe, we can put it right on the sell signals. So ideally what I'm looking for is for this to break over. And I'll be watching on a short-term scale also on the 15-minute to look for a better entry. And on the other side of this, you do have the bottom. So we're in a little channel right now. So we'll see if we can get a little price break on Doge. Maybe get into hopefully a long position. That's what it's looking like at the moment. We're getting some good volume on it. Although there is a lot of red, there is a lot of volume. The RSI has been redlining in bearish for a little while now. And the Sto's been bouncing around. But right now we're sitting in the oversold region basically. So we do have enough room to make a nice little impulse move. I'm sure if I went to the 4-day and the 1-day, this thing is torn up. Yeah, so even on the 4-day, you're hitting this major support. So this would be a main support right here. And then you have a range of candle wicks that are in this area. So right now, you're definitely in a solid area for Doge. Now, even with the long-term price, you can see this has reached this area one time before with a candle wick as well before price exploded. And previously, we just had an explosion past here, so we never got to test this area. By the way, guys, on TikTok, if you're following this and you want to see the live charts that I'm doing, make sure to jump on the YouTube. It's YouTube at Stonkaholics. You'll be able to see the actual TA, the charts I'm working on, everything like that. I wish TikTok would give me my stream key, but unfortunately they're not that friendly about it. So right now I'm just doing the front stream for you guys. But if you go on the YouTube channel, you'll be able to see my actual screen record as well as me. So back to Doge. Ideally, we are looking for something to pop right now. This is definitely a good buying opportunity if price wants to move back up. Let's do a little long-term Fibonacci on this just to see where we're sitting in terms of retracement, because that's looking pretty close to the 7860 on a long term. If I switch this to a 1 day, so even based on the start of the move to now, we're just a little bit under the 7860. Now when we went from our first move, so the first move didn't even hit the 6180. We barely got under the 6180. So that would have been called my first leg of the wave. Unfortunately, we didn't get part 5 of this. It probably would have been an absolute monster. But we did get 1 and 3 of the Elliott wave, but this thing did not get under the 6180, therefore it didn't actually retrace. A lot of times on the Fibonacci retracement, you're looking for projects to hit the 6180, and if it was a more explosive move, more than likely you're going to get a hit on the 7860. This is more common in crypto, where this is more common in Forex and regular stock trading. Even based on from here to here, we did hit TP2 before coming back down on our original Fibonacci move. Our TP3 was 83 cents, so that's a positive light for anyone that's a Doge holder. But even looking at this from a long-term scale, if I was to take out this fib retracement, what I'm seeing is what's common in most of these charts too, is this descending triangle that's hitting this apex bottom point. There are a lot of projects that have gotten to this descending triangle pattern and are at the very bottom looking to either break up or down. Dot and Link, they're both really solid projects. I mean, Link is going to be the Oracle King. It's not necessary. The world can exist without Chainlink. It is an ETH20 token, but there is a lot of upside for Link. I do like their smart contract system. I like all of that stuff about them. I think their oracles can change the game. There's just random FUD going around about them being centralized, which isn't true. Don't follow all of that. And with Polkadot's the same boat. I do like them a lot. I'm very strong in that ecosystem. I'm a big fan of Kusama. I like all the parachain auctions. So there's a lot of positive sentiment. Polka Starter's really good. Pokemon. There's a ton of projects that I've made YouTube videos about that are based off of Dot. I don't think Dot's going to be going anywhere. I think Dot can stay a top 10 project. Depending on what they do in the next couple of years, they could stay a top 5 project for all we know. But I would be kind of baffled at this point to see Dot drop out of the top 10. They carry a lot more positive sentiment than most projects. They have a lot of use cases. It's fast, it's cheap. Yeah, so if the cycle doesn't actually retrace, let me go back to the fib retracement on the long term. Thanks for bringing that up, Matt. So when you're watching these Fibonacci retracements, it's a harmonic pattern. So ideally, when you're getting a consistent pattern, you want it to come down. Like I said, it's good that it hit the 6180. It was a solid turn up, but at the end of the day, it was showing that this move itself wasn't very strong. And this would have proven with a harmonic pattern that it would have been an Elliott's wave, because the Elliott's wave can't get under the 7860 as a total, even with a lower candle wick. So this would have fulfilled wave 1 of the Elliott wave's harmonic pattern, but in terms of an actual retracement, that's one of the reasons why you didn't actually get to the TP3, because the retracement on here was not long enough to actually get the full strength for the volume and the momentum to get to TP3. So I guess it's more of like the tsunami effect, which we talked about before in the Discord group. If you see price come down to the 7860 area, it's like a tsunami where the further it pulls back, the stronger that next wave is going to be. So if we would have seen price come down to the 7860 area before we got that next leg, before Elon started pumping and doing all that stuff, we could have potentially seen Doge get up to the 84-cent range. But because we didn't give it enough time and it didn't get far enough on its pullback, we were only able to get to the TP2, which signaled that it was a relatively strong move, and then we fell off the map completely. But at the same time, you can take a longer and older retracement if it wasn't completely fulfilled and be able to use it. So based on this long-term move, since we didn't actually break under any trend with this Fibonacci retracement, it still holds true. So I can take this fib retracement and move it all the way up to the top, and it'll still be concurrent. And even based on here, we're still a little bit under the 7860, but it's not anything alarmed, and it's still not the lowest we've been. That's why I like to look at CoinGecko as well, because everyone knows that at the end of the day, it's not really important how great of a project is. It's not great how the usability is. All of that stuff doesn't necessarily matter. What really matters is if people want to put their money into that project, if their marketing is good enough, if people believe in it short term, if they think they can walk out millionaires. Those are the kind of things that people are trying to put their money towards now. So Doge was losing a lot of hype since people were buying it at 70 cents, and now you're at 17 cents. So if you would have gone down to 10 cents, that's a 7-time loss. Sorry. Doesn't feel good. I've been there. But once you start seeing this positive sentiment in the most voted coins, and these projects start to come up more, you're going to start to see more people throwing money into it, and that's why you want to buy them at the shorter time frames and before the hype train comes. So you can see SafeMood and Doge are both on this list right now, so I wouldn't be surprised if the market decides to start moving up and you see these guys start to move up a little bit more. Another issue that we're dealing with the market right now is that people are still putting a lot of money into altcoins, and it's taking away the value of Bitcoin. If we really wanted to see the market go up, you would want to see everyone putting all of their money into Bitcoin and taking out of altcoins to bring up the total dominance of the market. And then once the market dominance goes up, then you can start allocating some of the money from Bitcoin into some of the altcoins. But you're seeing more and more retail traders take their money out of Bitcoin and the safer bets and try to put it into shitcoins and altcoins and super altcoins and hyper altcoins and all these other crazy shills, so that they can try to flip a bag from $100 to 10,000 without realizing that you're just demeaning the actual value of Bitcoin and the market itself. So Link's up here too, so we might as well take a look at Link. That's the positive thing for Link, is it looks like it finally broke through this downtrend. Now we are just looking for a support hold before price can hopefully break up. Saying anywhere between the $15 and $11 range, we might be able to find some support, since previously there was a lot of volatility in that general area. At least we were able to break out of these downtrends though, because they were pretty aggressive. Now this could be the next little fake out area. Let me drop into the hour, make this a little bit clearer. So we do have a lower low, but at the same time those are candle wicks. So it could be a double bottom. We'll just have to wait and see how this plays out. Yeah, Vans, you're right. Link was a rough one. Not as rough as ICP, RIP, ICP, but yeah, Link took a little hit with the rest of the market. Everyone got pumped down a little bit. So you see here, even through the candle wicks, you do see a potential double bottom. Now the STO RSI is pulling out of the oversold area. We have tapped the 50 RSI trying to break into the bullish range, but we haven't done that yet, not in a while. And the last couple of times we've done it have just been small flashes. But even the small flashes that we've been getting, we've seen pretty nice moves. So even from here to here, you're talking about an 8% move. And if you're trading futures, that would have been close to a 35% move on a 10 times margin. So you could have gotten a nice little chunk of money off of that. But I'm very curious to see what Link does and the rest of the market. It looks like we might have found some sort of bottom. We're also in this wick area for Chainlink. Now for whatever reason, crypto loves to do this, where you'll see a price happen in the past and it'll only flash there for a couple hours, maybe even just 1 hour candle wick. You'll see a massive lower wick, and then next thing you know, a couple days later, a couple weeks later, price eventually slowly makes its way down and holds within those wick areas. I think that's what we're starting to see now. We had a light flash of where price could go a couple times, and since we never actually held in these areas, we had to test them at some point, and now we're finally getting that support confirmation test. It's important to see on a bullish standpoint some volume going into these trades. If there's no volume going in and there's no volume flow, then we're going to be continuing our most beloved dead cat bounce. And if we keep following that dead cat bounce, we're just going to keep slowly trickling down and bleeding out until we get to the point where the institutions are happy and want to throw their money back in. But for the time being, we're just barely hanging on in this channel. It's not looking super strong, but there is the opportunity of the fake out. They know that everyone's watching the same charts and looking at the same stuff, and they're just waiting for someone to bite in either direction. Me personally, I would like to see this come down instead of trying to hang on by a limb in this general area. I would rather just come down, hit this 29,000 area really fast, get that lower candle wick out of the way, and start to move back up. So this is the reason why I was looking for 24,000 or 29,000 as my major buy-in areas in terms of an institutional buy. Most of the institutions did get in this general area. You can see this is when volume started to pick up just a little bit and they started to fill their orders out. And then you got the big impulse move starting in the actual high volume. Now this was another major area for institution buy-ins because of the selling pressure that they had from short positions. So that's going to be around this $29,000 range, which we haven't gotten to besides a couple lower wicks, but no actual support holds or any sort of candle bodies in that area. So this is what I'm waiting for at the moment to see what happens when price gets in this general area, if it does get there. And ideally, if it was a best bet situation for myself as a buyer for a long term, or if you're staking or doing anything like that, your best opportunity to buy coins would be down in this general area for projects that you're staking, because you can get a lot more for your money. Let's say, for example, you wanted to buy one of these projects at $100, and after this little dip in price, all the tokens that you wanted are now $10. you can add 10 times the amount to your staking projects and your staking rewards. So when price goes back up, you're getting 10 times the rewards that you would have originally gotten if you bought at the top. So it's a blessing and a curse. It really sucks for the people that did buy at the top. If you bought that token at $100 and now you're seeing it at $10 and you're getting 10 times less the amount that you should be getting, it's not a fun game to play. Sorry, TikTok, my thing fell off. Appreciate you, Bobby. Yeah, Badger DAO is a pretty interesting one. I like where that project's going. I think adding DeFi to Bitcoin is definitely a bullish play. I haven't seen anyone doing that yet, so hopefully it works out for them. I did try to buy some earlier, but I was trying to get it through Ethereum and the gas fees were still insane, so hopefully we can get a little bit more of a price dip so I can get a better gas fee value. Percy coin. Let's see. USD Percy. Well, that's good. This thing pumps right off the bat. Let's do a little research here. Percy coin. How's your night going, Brian? Percy coin went straight into the shitter the last couple days. It did peak out. It looks like you had some sort of like a head and shoulders formation on here. Will it pull this up? Of course it won't. Privacy blockchain. Proof of audit, mining. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens, but all of these sources are not very good. I know it says high confidence on them, but I personally don't trade on any of these. See if there's any news about it. See if Twitter knows anything about it. If I can type. We are doing amazing over here. Waiting to see some excitement. I feel like every time I get off of my computer, go to sleep, market goes crazy, so I'm trying to get a little late night run in. Watch 2 and 88. Hey, Bobby, I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that a lot. I do this for you guys. More so, I know what it's like to be a new trader, and there's just so many people out there trying to scam and do this and do that. It's a rough world, especially trying to do it by yourself. I mean, I am pretty deep in the world, and I've been scammed before. I've sent some idiot some money thinking that it was somebody else because they mimicked one of my friends and mirrored how they were talking and all this stuff. So we're all here to learn together, and the market is so big, it's almost impossible to do it alone. That's why the Discord group comes in so handy. Which, by the way, if you guys haven't hit it yet, there is a free Discord link in the comment section on the YouTube. Feel free to join that. Let's peep this real quick. Matic and Soul. I was sad. I had a couple of futures runs on these. I hit break even on them. Yeah, see, everything is basically still in this free fall. Unfortunately, Matic wasn't able to hold the support. I really did think it was going to, but we did have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Basically a 9 bounce before we broke out in this little channel. It was a small convergence pennant, but it wasn't anything crazy. Yeah, man, these sharks are crazy out here. They'll bite you. all these sharks and scammers, these scammers are getting smart these days, and especially in crypto, they're getting you left and right. And I see influencers, people that are in the industry doing all this research and being, extra diligent in the community, and they're still getting scammed. So be safe out there. So with Matic is also in that same area, and Matic is currently sitting in an area of interest because of the volatility zone that it's in. So this whole area for me would be an area of interest, and you can see we're just sitting in the center of this channel right now. I feel like there are a lot of projects that are sitting the same, but it's a good look because that was a support hold before we got our first impulse move. So if price does want to sit in this general area, that is still bullish. We're still sitting good because that means that we can correct and get back up to where we were. Now if we back trace down, that's when I'll start to worry for Matic, because then you're looking at less than 50 cents a token, and you're going to be going down almost another 50% from current value. That's why anyone that's getting the trades right now, I'd highly recommend, super highly recommend using trading stop losses. Don't be that guy. It hurts when you don't use it. You let the greed monster hit. It's okay to let the greed monster go, but you got to control him a little bit. So that's why we use trailing stop losses. So if you're doing futures and your trade starts to move up, and you're in a position that you can put a stop loss so where you're not losing money, take that advantage, because it's better to hit a break even than to lose that money. I'd rather know that I was in a position and I moved my stop loss and hit a break even than waking up in the morning and being down $600. Or anyone that was a part of the first dip, I was watching my account go down from, I lost probably $10,000 in an hour. And my girlfriend watched it too, and we were both sitting there just kind of puzzled. And it's not a fun ride when you don't have that trailing stop loss in. That's where hodling can get you. But in order to keep yourself from getting caught in these moments and still being able to take advantage of these really good buying situations, just have a stop loss in place, protect yourself, make sure you're not trading with money you can't trade. Risk management is crucial, because if you're too emotional in the trades, that pretty much means that you're over leveraging, and if you're over leveraging, you're gonna have a bad time. You're gonna get hurt and it's gonna be bad. And most traders will tell you the only time you really learn how to trade is when you start liquidating accounts and losing accounts. And by the time you lose $10,000, you're like, oh, that's not good. Make sure my battery's still going here. Sorry, TikTokers. Are we good? Whatever. So yeah, for the most part I do use them on futures, but there are certain situations that I will use a stop loss in a long term. So for example, when we're looking at Matic, my stop loss originally for Matic was at this region right here after the first impulse move, and luckily I did get a nice little tap out here, and I did sell a little bit up here, luckily. But when this whole thing happened, I was able to get some out at the bottom here from a stop loss, and then as this price continued to come down, I was able to re-enter at the bottom and get a little bit more money back up and to compensate for that loss. So that's where the stop loss comes in handy. You just want to make sure that you have enough space. So you never want to put the stop loss within the actual trend. You want to make sure that it's broken out. So for example, if I was running a trade on Matic from let's say here. Now my Fibonacci retracement would have told me to start at the SR flip point and go to the top. So based on this trend, my stop loss would have been at the 100% mark, because that would have signified that the actual trend was being broken and the harmonic pattern of this move is being broken, and it's a signal of a potential trend reversal. So on a futures trade, let's say I got in somewhere up here, my stop loss will be really tight, whereas on a long-term trade, I'll have a lot more room on my stop loss to compensate. Now, a really safe trader will put their stop loss all the way down here to the 1.44 range, because price had failed to get under there from the last little consolidation before we had our impulse. So if you want to play it super safe, that would be the way to go. But for me personally, I like to start my Fibonacci's and everything from the top, just to make sure that if we do get back into this consolidation area, I've confirmed that we're out of the trend. So once we would have broken, once I saw this candle come out, that would have been a signal that we are breaking out and going down further, and then that's when you would have seen this beauty, because then you would have gotten the fake out. Now, when you're doing the fake out, this is where people get stuck, because they said, oh, we're coming right back. Look how strong this lower wick is. Look how green this candle is. But if you take your fib and flip your fib in reverse from the bottom to the top, and now bring this down a little bit more to this part, now you're seeing you're actually hitting the 6180. Let's go from here. Sorry, I went the wrong direction. Like, what is going on? So from here to here, you would have had the start from the peak all the way down to the bottom. Now, based on this harmonic pattern, you got to touch on the 6180, which is the golden ratio number. That would have been signaling that this uptrending move, where everyone thought that we were just getting a huge buying opportunity, was actually just part of the retracement, but a retracement in a bearish form. And you see, even based on this pattern and what it's saying, is that your take profit one would have been this 95 area on a long term. And if I run this, you would have hit and gotten your take profit right on this take profit one, based on this actual retracement move. That's where Fibonacci retracements can come in handy too. And see, that's the perfect spot, because once you got into here, this would have been my looking in buying area based on the historical data that we had. This was an area of interest because of the volatility that was in the area. So if I would have been shorting this position and I would have sold out at my take profit one, I would have been watching this go down. And when I saw price hold on top of this area and start to move back up, that's when I would have added my next entry. Now this next entry would have been based off this full move, so I would have brought in this retracement down. This would come down to here where the move started, and I would follow this until we hit one of these take profits. So you have a 6180 or 7864 hour retracement. Now price comes all the way back up and hits right at the 7860 line a couple times. And you got a nice large break, but that formed a double top. And that double top is what signaled the actual trend reversal, because that typically will happen. It's not like we're going to go up and hit a peak and price is going to come crashing down. More than likely, you're going to see price go all the way up and it's going to come down. It's going to take a huge spike up, but it's going to be just a little bit shorter in height. So this move got up to here. This move only got up to here. So it made a nice solid move. It makes it look like it's a bullish formation, but at the end of the day, there was still not enough steam to even make up and get close to what we were at before. And because of this lower high, it's signaling a double top trend reversal. And then that's when we come crashing down. So keep in mind what you're seeing here too. And currently, we're sitting right back in this channel that we were just talking about. So projects like Matic, keep an eye out on these, because we could see something crazy happening in either direction. But this could also consolidate in here for a day, a week, who knows. But if we do see a consolidation period in here, that's really good news. That's when you want to accumulate. Let's look at Sol. So Sol's looking a little bit better than Matic is. There's still a lot more space on these lower wicks. It's been holding its ground a little bit better. So that's a good sign for Sol. Let's clear some of this out. Now, unfortunately, we were riding this uptrend. We had a major break in the trend, and then you saw this resistance. This is where patience comes in handy, because you had a trending move down. A lot of people would have gotten into shorts, and then you would have freaked out seeing it go back up, and you would have gotten into longs. And next thing you know, this was an actual fake out. This whole thing was a resistance test on a downtrend, and next thing you know, we break down hard. And from that move, this is going to be your major support off of the downtrend break. And we've been sitting in a channel since that time, still in that channel. Now within the channel, you're starting to see some trend lines pop up. See, this would have been one of my trend lines where you see that it's trying to get on top of this line, but it's not able to. So we might see it come back down and test the support, which isn't a bad thing. We've only had 2 tests so far. This one was barely a test. Both of them really were not tests. They were clear support holds. So we want to see this come back down and get one more support hold. If we can see that one more support hold, or ideally have this break over this trend line, and then when it breaks over this trend, start to roll down and then hold support onto this side. If we can get a support hold over in this general area, I'll be happy with that. What we really don't want to see is this come down and start breaking under here. That's when we're going to get into this bear sentiment, because more than likely we'll end up seeing something like, where are my arrows? Whatever. You get the point though. We don't want it to break down, because if we do break down on Sol, the next spot that we're going to be sitting at will be $20. And then after that, you're looking at $16. And the final stand for this would be around $12. Yeah, of course, Bobby. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. What else we got? Let's see if we got any change, any growth on CoinGecko. I cannot spell today. If you guys don't use this trick, it's a nice one. Go to coingecko.com, then you go to coins and go to discover, and that's where they're going to show you all these fun ones, all the trending searches, most voted coins, positive sentiments. Smooth Love Potion's getting some love right now. We're getting a nice little pull up. It was sitting under the price that it was released at, so that's a positive sign for Smooth Love Potion. I heard a little bit about it, but not enough to get my attention. But if it's the most visited and most voted and trending and positive, let's look into it. Why not? Since we're all here. Make sure y'all staying hydrated now. So when I'm doing research on my projects, CoinGecko is going to be the main one that I go to in terms of finding the trending ones. That's how I found MetaHero, because I popped up on here one day and MetaHero was sitting at 0.005, but it was on the top of the trending and positive sentiment and most voted. And that's what got me to click into it and start reading about it. From there, I usually go on to CoinMarketCap if they're on there, and that's where I'll do my analysis on the coins themselves. So that's where I'll go through their market caps and their circulating supply, if their max supply is there. So because there's no max supply, this means this is an infinite token. So it is a coin that can just be printed like the US dollar. It's inflationary. Whereas if you go to a Bitcoin, you're going to see that they have the total supply there and the max supply, which means that it's a finite and inflationary token. Now, on top of these, the other one that I like to use a lot is coin360.com. This is going to give you a nice little eye-catching idea of what the market's looking like as a whole. So anything that's in a dark red will be anything that's lower than 3% or 4% or 5%, something like that. I think it's 5. And then anything that's dark green will be up 5%. So typically if I want to do a long position, I'll be looking for something that's dark red, that's down, that even getting to a break even on the day is going to be a 6% move. That's great for futures. And vice versa, if I'm looking for a short position, I want to look for something that made a skyscraper, or something that's that moved up 40-50% in 2 days. Something like that is one that I would look to short, because what comes up must come down. So that's the easiest way to get into shorting positions, and that's probably my favorite strategy and easiest strategy to explain. Now, on top of going through these, you can always go through their Twitter. That's a really good way to go through their projects, make sure people are using it, so on and so forth. You always want to go through their websites. I'll go through their white paper. So let's go through Smooth Love Potion. So this is through AXS. So Axie Infinity is working with Chainlink, so that's why Chainlink has been super bullish, and that's why everything on Axie has been bullish. They have Aave on their list, Binance Launchpad. So AXS is probably who we need to look into. Axie Infinity ranked 63rd. See, yeah, they're the ones that you got to be watching out for, because since July 1st, since June 29th, they've done the opposite of the rest of the market. It went from $4 all the way up to around $25. So you would have gotten a 5 times move in around 15 days based off Axie. This is definitely one that I'm going to have to talk about in one of my next YouTube videos. So Smooth Love Potion is going to be part of Axie. That's why they are going bullish. And you can see Battle Collect and Earn, NFTs. You buy lands. Talks about AXS a little bit and what Axie is. So yeah, it's like, let's see. Blockchain-based trading game inspired by Pokemon, Tamagotchi. So each Axie is an NFT with different attributes and strength, can be entered into 3v3 battles. Axie ecosystem also has its own unique governance token, Axie shards, participant in key governance votes. Okay, so it's like a DAO system basically. Now I'd go to their website. Let's look at their white paper as well. So they are open and transparent with their team. They got their names out there. That's a good thing to see. You see the decentralized organization or their DAO system. Open-ended gameplay. Sharding. Let's look at their metrics. It's ERC22, so that's positive. At least they're latched onto something with some strength. So based out of Vietnam, back in 2018 is when they chose Ethereum. The mechanics of play to earn do not require a fully decentralized public blockchain. Part of the ethos of the Web3 idea is users being rewarded for the value they bring to the applications, and this is what we chose to focus on with Axie. Yeah, so they're not trying to focus on the actual blockchain. They just want to do the video game and the NFT section of this. So 90,000 ETH traded in their marketplace, 300 ETH for one Axie, and 250,000 daily active players. That's a good sign. It's a lot of people. It's definitely an interesting website. Play to earn. Axie. Some of these are crazy though. I was looking at another project yesterday, and you needed to buy 3 of their NFTs to play the game, and the NFTs costed like $300 a piece, so you had to have $1,000 to play this game. It was impressive. I was impressed with that. I don't know who else is playing that game, but I'm not throwing $3,000 on that, or $1,000 even for that matter. Griff Dizzle, if you're still watching this feed, or if you're in one of these feeds, welcome to our Discord group. Appreciate you. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the link in the comment section to join our Discord group. It is a free link. That's where you get all the juicy stuff. I know you guys want that juicy information, or some early calls, some chart work. We have around 250 people in our group so far, and we would love to have you join us as well. Let's explore the crypto world while we're at it. Hey, double streaming. It's my kind of guy right there. Let's see what we got popping. Probably nothing. It's just all spam nowadays on here. No. Go to CoinDesk. Thanks, Lead. Appreciate it. Glad you guys find it all helpful. Make sure to come join our family. The Discord link is in the comment section pinned. You can get in for free. Come join our family. Bank of America approving Bitcoin futures. Oh shit. And this is like the sneaky information they just like to sneak in when things are down. And that's the thing also with these futures trading, is that they tell you this like it's some super bullish information, but they don't explain to you that that also means that they can short the shit out of the market. And it could be the move. Now, I don't know if some of you guys know this, but there is a way that you can leverage your positions from the top, so you don't have to sell your positions, but you can make money as a whale and basically get a new buying position while holding your same value of token. What I mean by all of that crazy conspiracy nonsense is that if I was an institutional buyer and I bought Bitcoin at $25,000 and I saw it get up to $60,000, what I can do from $60,000 is add short positions, and those short positions can outweigh my long position. So as price drops down from 60,000 to 30,000 on Bitcoin, I'm not making as much, but the amount that I'm making from my leverage short positions is higher than the amount that I'm losing from my long positions losing their value. Therefore, I'm making money as price is going down. I'm not selling any of my positions, and I'm not taking any of my value away from my coins. And next thing you know, once price gets low enough, let's say to 28,000, and I'm happy with that buying point, then I can take all of that money, I can cut my short, and I can take my leverage gains and I can put them right back into Bitcoin at 30,000. And now when price goes back up to 60,000, not only did I leverage down to make money, I was able to add more money at my initial buy-in value that did so well for me, and I was able to not only make that money going down, but then double timed, if not triple timed that money while it went back up. So that's how a whale or someone with a lot of money could push the market down. And you hear people talking about short squeezes, but at the end of the day, those short squeezes can't be planned. The main reason why they would be planned is because on a short squeeze, when that actually breaks and you take those squeezes out, price is going to automatically explode. So as a bear or a whale or anyone like that, if I'm shorting and I have a large bag or an institution, I can add pressure like a spring, get price where I want it, add my long positions, buy as much as I want to. Now the second I release my shorts, the price automatically goes up, so they take away that potential of loss because they've hit the spring down as far as they could before releasing that tension and letting it explode back up. What are your thoughts on Theta T Fuel? I like the project. Yeah, I mean, Theta is not that bad for me to buy. I have KuCoin. If you have KuCoin, sometimes you can get T Fuel automatically, but let's see. Let's look into T Fuel at the moment, see how they're doing. So at least, I mean, if you're in the United States, you're a little screwed, but if you're outside the United States, you can get Theta Fuel. But I feel like this could be the same kind of thing as like VET and VTHO or VTHO. So just keep that in mind. I mean, it looks fine. It looks like every other chart. We're definitely in a nice area of volatility. Hopefully price can find out where it wants to go next. Yeah, I'm going to get back to the Bank of America. Sorry, I got ADHD, so I like to bounce around a little bit. There's just too much to talk about in such little time. But yeah, with Theta Fuel, T Fuel, it should not be mistaken for Theta. Theta is the governance token, and this is the utility token. Yeah, we know because of gas and burn. I guess that's the big thing that they are trying to say in here is that Theta is not going to be burning as much, whereas Theta Fuel, you're going to see a lot more burning because it is the actual utility token. Whereas Theta is just the governance token, so it's essentially the DAO of the system. The Theta would give you the power and the voting and everything, where the Theta Fuel is where you would be getting more of those burns and the potential money. The worker bee of the ecosystem. Yeah, it's just unfortunate that it doesn't have too many markets right now. Gate, I like the charts, but yeah, if you're not in Binance, you're kind of having to risk it and go through Crypto.com. That's actually a really good one. If you have crypto.com, I definitely recommend using that. That would probably be your best bet. Thorchain. Whew. Yeah, Vethos. Yeah, we get a nice little discount on Thorchain if that's the case. Huh. Yep. Buy 7.6 million ChaosNet exploit. Offers hacker a bounty to return funds. Oh, that's sad. That means that they don't have any insurance policy. That sucks. See, that's why you want to put your money into things that actually have that. Yeah, people hate on KuCoin because it's not American based and this and that. But at the same time, at least they have insurance. They've been hacked before and they didn't really care about it because they had enough money to cover it with the insurance policy. But at the end of the day, they were still able to recover everyone's money. So props to you, KuCoin. Keep it up, guys. But this sucks for Thorchain. You gotta watch out for some of these low alts and all these other things that are going on. There's just too many leaks and holes in the system right now, and ways to take advantage of low cap altcoins, especially if you have a lot of money. Let's see, what kind of hack was it? Has the funds needed to cover the user's stolen assets, but articulated a preference for the hacker to return the stolen funds in exchange for a bug bounty. Yeah, that sounds like a whole bunch of bullshit. Oh. And a bounty. So basically they want to pay him and learn how he hacked their system. Sounds like a really ghetto version of Chainlink, because Chainlink and some of these other companies have hackathons, and they specifically bring in a bunch of hackers and are like, hey, if any of you can break this, we'll pay you millions of dollars and give you a job. So let me know what you want. Halborn Security compiling a proposal for the Thorchain community for advanced persistent protection, offering up a team of half a dozen to ethical security engineers working to break every update on Thorchain. So basically, you guys are reactive and not proactive. They got snipped, and now they're like, oh, we're gonna fix everything. Don't leave our place. Please don't take the money out of our system. We love your money. Don't take it out. Today's attack is not the first time Thorchain has been targeted. Already losing at least 140,000 worth of assets last month. Alright, so yeah, if you got money in Thorchain, probably want to move that out of there ASAP. It's not financial advice. Do what you want. I'm just telling you what I would do if I had Thorchain. Damn, that's rough. Damn. That's is rough for them. So let's see what's going on with Bank of America. Due to a large amount of margin required to trade the futures, it is now allowing some clients to access the crypto market. Some clients are setting up to trade Bitcoin futures. Well, at least they're reiterating the fact that I was saying that the majority of money in crypto is based on futures leverage borrowing money, because this basically sounds like the banks didn't have enough to cover all the required loans to cover everyone's futures and margin requests. So now they're just allowing people to do it on their own. So Goldman Sachs confirms to relaunch its cryptocurrency trading desk after a 3-year hiatus. Yeah. This news is, I want to say it's bull news, but at the same time I know it's bear news, because the more institutions get in it, the lower the price is going to get. And the second that they actually want to institutionalize everything, they're not going to actually take the values that we see. They're only going to take the technologies from these blockchains and integrate them, which means that these companies are going to have to get reevaluated. And when they do get reevaluated, that's going to be the real start of the bear market. I talk about that a lot in the Discord group, where we will see that price go down a lot when we get institutions wanting to integrate into blockchain technology. It's going to be really rough when that time comes, because you're talking about Ethereum and other projects that are worth more than PayPal, which is the largest fiat distributor in the entire world, that has more transactions processed than anyone else in the world at any given time. And that company has less of a value than Ethereum, which is technically still a shitcoin because the gas fees are so high. ETH 2.0 still isn't out. It's all skeptical. You're basically just putting your bet. It's like ADA too. You're basically just putting your bet in the hopes that their big dogs are going to pull through and give you what you hope for. You know, if Charles Hoskinson does not come up to the hype, you can see that 88 price drop fast. But if he does stay with the hype, then that can continue to push up and we could see something really good. So that is definitely something to keep in mind. So Bank of America created a team dedicated to researching cryptocurrencies and related technologies. In 2018, the financial advisors and clients were blocked from trading Bitcoin related investments, but that policy has now changed. Total open interest on the Bitcoin futures market is sitting at 11.3 billion, down 59% from its April 13th peak of 27.3 billion. That's insane. And that's just, yeah, see, so that is a nice little chunk of that $1 trillion market cap they had that was just in Bitcoin futures. Tether hasn't printed new USDT in weeks. I wonder why. Probably because they're about to go under investigation. But let's see why they think it. The money printer has gone quiet. Came to a halt as Bitcoin's price was coming off all-time highs. Well, they don't have to keep up with the price of Bitcoin anymore, and they don't have to fake money out, so that's always good. The sudden pause of Tether printing has instead revealed that the most traded cryptocurrency in the world is seeing its dominance threatened by 3 unprecedented challenges combining in a perfect storm to rattle the stablecoin. Trouble in its biggest geographic market has made it hard for traders there to buy USDT with fiat. One of USDT's most promising competitors appears to be gaining market share, and regulatory pressure around the world is increasing. Damn. The demand for Tether ebbs and flows and has been imploded by lower demand in recent weeks. USDT is not the only stablecoin that has been reduced demand. Now they're going to blame China's crackdown on crypto, even though Tether is based out of China. Which I think is more so why they're getting a lot of negative news. Same with Binance. Conspiracies here, I guess, but Binance and Tether and all of those are Chinese-ran companies. And because they're Chinese owned and they put a threat to the US dollar and US money, it would make sense for them to put all this negative media out on Binance and Tether in order to lower their values so that other companies can step in and take some of that market cap away from the Chinese crypto market. Chinese police arrested more than 1,000 people on money laundering charges, alleging they used crypto to help them evade the law. Okay, there you go, China. It's extremely difficult to go on and off ramp in China. A lot of the OTC merchants have stopped deals, so you can't even get your money out. Yeah, so Tether's market in Asia is through OTC merchants. With less cash going to the market, there's less demand for Tether. There appears to be more USD than Tron. Damn. So more FUD for Tether. Well, we all knew that was the case. And that there's no stimulus check, we ain't getting no Bitcoin. So does that mean that they should give us another stimulus check so that we can make Bitcoin price go up again? I'm trying to learn, just got into the week before the crash started. Well, you are pretty lucky for only losing 15%. There are some people that lost a nice little chunk. I know some of my projects, I had some shitcoins. I mean, I took out my initial investment, thank God. But yeah, some of my house money did go down, minus 10 times. I had some things that went down from, $200 to $20 or $2,000 to $200. So luckily you did catch it at the bottom end when the hype was going away a little bit more. Hey, Bobby, aka Pelon, aka Bobby, welcome to the Discord group, to the fam. Beers, pop. Appreciate all the support, you the man. I'm going to take a little 5-minute break. I will be right back. I'll leave this on for you guys to watch and enjoy. right. We are back in action. What other projects we have that we're interested in checking out? Let's go see how the boys doing. Old meta hero. He's definitely happy with that gain. Ay, pelón. I've been in Gainesville too long. I'm like, Pelon? What's up, Pelon? Pelón. Bienvenidos. What's up, TikTok fam? How are you guys doing? The YouTube fam is popping right now. How are you guys doing? We're double timing right now. Getting in some good trades, anyone? We got some good stuff popping. Meta hero. It is 1:15 a.m. Eastern Time. Looks like Meta Hero might be making another move up. Hopefully. This thing has been a solid little grab for me. 7 days, 77%, even after an 8% down on the day. Let's see, I made the YouTube video. Three days ago, so on the 14th. On the 14th. Somewhere in this general area in the 6.006, 0.007 range is when I grabbed it. And got out yesterday around this 0.014 range, so a little bit over 2 times, if not just double the move. Saw the little gains. Supposedly Hex is up right now while everyone else is down. Oh, we're starting to see some green. We are starting to see some green. Sushi with the pot. Sushi had a good little move right here. 4 hours are looking solid on Sushi. Decent volume. You got a nice little push so far. This thing could probably get up to around the 7.3 range. Even up to here, the 7.2 range is a nice little move for Sushi. We're starting to see some breakout candidates right now. Tezos should be getting a buy signal within the next hour. Bitcoin's starting to push up. It's looking more, and so like this double bottom is going to be, oh, it's technically a triple bottom or a head and shoulders inverted. So this could be the start of the end, hopefully, unless market really wants to shit itself some more. But you have a head and shoulders formation on the bottom on the hourly. That is a positive sign. So shoulder. You got the other shoulder on this side. And last but not least, you have Senor head right here. The old inverse head and shoulders pattern. Now what we really want to see is if this price will continue to push up to this area. And then we should get a little bounce and up if it is an inverse head and shoulders. We don't know yet, but it could be an inverse head and shoulders. It's looking pretty promising. Willy whoa. Whoa, whoa. Waves still down. We could take this off. Even though waves is looking pretty strong at the moment, getting a nice bounce off of this previous area as well. We had a double top. BTC shorts getting annihilated right now. That's a good sign. They were up a couple days ago. We had some pretty strong positions on shorts. We are back down. BTC dominance. It's alright. It's been better. It's been worse. We want to get back up into this general area for BTC dominance. If we can get up in here, that'd be nice. Now DXY. Let's go daily DXY, see what's going on the macro. Yeah, so we're getting out of this little bull. We're still hitting buys. If this goes up, that could be a bear sign for the market. Typically when DXY is up, crypto goes down, and then you have the volatility index. The volatility index has been in the same area for a little while now. Still hitting these dead bounces. At least it's hitting support. That's a good sign, but volatility hasn't necessarily been there. If you guys got any suggestions, anything you want to talk about, let me know. We just chilling right now, having a little sesh down, a little crypto sesh down. Oh yeah. Have we gotten that Doge pump yet? Nope, not yet. Come on, Doge. We are seeing a little movement, though. Ooh, Doge, you're tempting me with the position right now. Am I gonna have to add a short on Le Doge? Go like this. Boom. Tezos! We can definitely do Tezos. I'm just going to add a quick little position on Doge on my margin futures on a long position. For shits and gigs, since we've been watching it, it's relatively low. We're still in this general area that we've been talking about in these candle wicks. Lower candle wicks specifically. Doge has been burnt out recently, sitting at 17 cents. This thing could probably push back up to 25 if it really wanted to. Now when I'm doing these short-term trades, what I'll do is from here, this will be my next take profit at the top of this trend area. And from the bottom side, this is going to be the support. Now we have a descending triangle and a sort of channel that's formed from this point, and then we also have this critical area which is going to play a major support and resistance role. So if we do see a price impulse, we could see a little stagger here and maybe a push down before we go back up. If not, we could see a break up, find a little stagger here and go up even higher. So it's going to be an interesting area to get into. Let's see. So we'll get 4,500 Doge on a long position. And we'll see what happens. We're going to stick a stop loss right under the trend line area in these lower candles. So 16.8. So right now we just got into a little mini trade. If you're following our Discord group or anything, we're doing a $10 to 10K challenge on futures. That account is close to $430 or so right now. Where are you at? So I just entered another position, if you guys can see this. Show the tiki-takis first, and then you guys can see it possibly. So we just got into a long position on Doge. For shits and giggles, we're gonna play it to this top line of resistance and see what happens. If it wants to break through this trend line in an impulse, we could see a nice break. If it wants to hit a resistance point anywhere in here, we can get out, but we have a stop loss set at 0.168. So where that stop loss is set is just under this current trend area. Going long on the dojo. This is obviously more on the risky side because there's no confirmation yet, but I've just been eyeing this specific buy area for a little while now. So for me, I'm also not risking that much. This is a smaller account, so if I lose my $28 stop loss, I'm going to be okay. I'm not going to lose sleep over my $28. But you never know how high it can get. These things can explode in a second. And we've been waiting for Doge for a while. We see that the market's starting to go green. We've had a couple of red days, so it's only likely that we could be getting a green day coming soon, even if it's just a short-term play. Just to get a 10, I also went 8 times margin on that trade, or 8 times leverage. So on that position, a 10% move would be an 80% move in gains. Alright, let's look at Tezos now that we got that in order. And then we'll come back to Doge and talk about the risk and reward ratios. Tezos, you're getting a nice little turn as well. Let's see, the 30-minute, I bet you they signaled the buy. Yep, so you got a buy signal on the 30, and you're getting 2 confirmations now. If you really wanted to wait and be patient, you could wait for an hourly flip. The last major resistance I see going forward is going to be this $2.46 range. If not that, you might stop at $2.55, but more than likely, it's looking like you're going to be able to get up to this $2.62 range if it wants to push up into this long. Now, this volume spike is really important. You can see they're having a lot more volume right now in the last hour than there's been in a very long time. So that means that something could be in store for Tezos. Let's look at their long terms, and yeah, so even with this, you got a double top here, force price down, and you have your first bottom. Let's test this out on a long-term scale and see what that matches with. Yeah, so you're sitting on a pretty strong SR flip area from here. So you're going to have resistance, 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 flips over to support, and then once it holds the support, you get this full move up to the top to test all-time highs before coming back down. And now you're retesting the support instead of testing a resistance on this side. So more than likely, if price does break from here for Tezos, you're looking at 1.92, just the high 1 range and the high 1 area, all the way down to potentially the 1.55 range to find the next potential support. But keep in mind, this whole area right here is going to be a major volatility area, so more than likely price can stay, and if it does go into this area, it'll sit in here for a little bit of time. As you can see here, we staggered around a little bit. See if I can throw a Bollinger Band on here and show you guys that. No, not this one. There we go. So when you're getting into a lot of these trades, what you want to see is a consolidation period where price sits, and then it's called an accumulation period. That's when the Bollinger Bands are a little bit tighter. These are the accumulation areas when you want to be buying your Tezos, or for example, if you want to be shorting a position, this is what you want to be looking for to get ready to get into your short. But once the bands get a little bit tighter, that means that price is restricting. And as the price starts to move up and fluctuate, you see the bands get wider. That's when you know that it might be time to buy or sell, especially when the bands get wide and you start to see price moving out of the bands themselves on a Bollinger Band. That's typically your sell sign. I use Bollinger Bands a lot on my short-term scalping. Now, vice versa, when you see this happening, you can play the retracement game. So let's say I bought down here and I watched this go all the way up and I know price came out. I can start to short or sell its way back into here, because normally it's going to have to come back to this EMA at some point, the middle zone. So once it comes back in, you can see the Bollinger Band gets a little bit tighter. You get a little bit of accumulation right here in a consolidation channel, and then boom, you get your next impulse move. And you get a lot of impulsivity. This is the areas that you don't want to be investing in because there's so much volatility and you really don't know what's going to happen. Now we're finally starting to get to this next point where our volatility is going down. We're in an accumulation zone. We're starting to get into a channel, and our channel that we're building right now hopefully is going to stay above this major SR flip area, which is a key critical point for long-term growth and the long-term wealth of Tezos. So all of that stuff together, it's definitely a good sign for it, even if it drops into this area. Honestly, if it drops down to here, it's fine. We just don't want to see a free fall past 1.5. If we see that, then that's when we can start being alarmed, and this thing might take a little bit longer to recover. But for the time being and on a long-term scale, this is a pretty bullish move still. Now, if I zoom this out a little bit longer, you can see that we did try to hold this as a support previously and did not hold the support and fell in. But after we did fall back in and hold this, when we held this accumulation channel and a sideways channel through here, we finally got our next impulse break all the way up to the $8 range. Let's see. RLC. Let's see what you got. I mean, you're getting a nice accumulation if you're just watching all of that stuff we were talking about. We did form down into a channel. The only thing you got to worry about with a project like this, we go to one that might have a little bit longer of a time frame. Oh shit. Not you. Let's go here. Ah, there we go. So we'll leave the Bollinger Bands off for now. We'll come back to them in a second. So based off of here, you would have a critical support hold, which is also a support and resistance level. Even going back into the past a little bit more, this was a point that wasn't been broken. And once price finally was able to break this region, that's when we finally saw the impulse move. Now, I also like to mark the start of the impulse. So right here, that's going to be a critical position. It's probably going to be the top. So now you have this little channel of volatility. If price rejects out of this little channel, let's make a rectangle within there so it's a little bit easier to see. Now, if you get a price rejection in this area, it's pretty difficult for price to get back up. It took 1, 2, 3 full tests and a hold at the bottom of this channel, multiple holds, so confirmation, in order for this thing to actually get its first impulse move all the way up to $16 from $2. So times 8 on that move. That's a solid gain. If you're in that, congrats. Now price is holding really well. You're sitting on this major SR flip on the top of this major channel, accumulation channel, consolidation channel, whatever you want to call it. Now when you turn on the Bollinger Bands, you can see we're starting to pull down a little bit more, which is a good sign. See, this one had a little straightaway before it pulled off. We're starting to see a straight line and a channel accumulation here before hopefully going up. Now, all of these things are dictated by the market, so if total market cap in Bitcoin wants to go down, all of this is going to go down with it. By the way, anyone on TikTok that's watching, if you guys want to see my screen recording and all of that stuff, make sure to join the live on YouTube at Stockaholics. That's where I'm doing my actual screen record, so you can see my charts, you can see my analysis, all that stuff. TikTok is just picky with the stream key, so you guys get the front view while they get everything else. But all in all, if this does hold and if market wants to hold, RLC could be a potential boomer. You could see this thing go up. It is a nice little consolidation channel right now. The ideal buy-in situation would be down here at this 1.8 range. So that's why I would suggest doing DCA in these kinds of, well, in any situation, honestly, because this could be hit in the next week, 2 weeks, month. So as long as you have a plan that you can stretch out your investment, if it does get down to the opportunity, at least you have the buying power to get in. And also you have investment spots and buying spots on the top as well. So if price does start to explode, at least you can take advantage of price while it's impulsing, but not feel like you're going to lose it all from buying the top out of full FOMO with your full investment. You still DCA on the way up, so it's not that bad. Remove these drawings. I'm gonna go straight band trading right now with a major support line. And a critical volatility area. That's going to be our naked chart at the moment. We are still in this sweet spot for buying opportunities with Doge. Now the bands are not too tight right now, but you can see with Doge you had a really small accumulation channel and a sideways channel within these Bollinger Bands. And from this tiny little suspension, you were able to get a massive impulse move up. Hey, Jose, you're the man. I appreciate you. I'm glad that you've been able to make some money in this downtrend. And with this bear market, that's honestly one of the hardest things to do. So the fact that you're able to double your bag and do everything, that's props to you too, my guy. I'm just here to help give some advice, but at the end of the day, all those trades and everything are on you. So congrats on those gains. Make sure you secure them. Don't let the greed monster eat you. And as long as I got you guys here supporting, then I'll be here. By the way, for any of you guys that are watching this on TikTok right now, I'm sure you've seen all the crazy crypto bans and this and that. So if you're trying to follow us on another channel, you can do that through YouTube, through Twitter, through Instagram, all at Stonkaholics. Oh, let's go. Put me on the spot, Lee. I'm ready. Put me in, coach. Ave, you got it, sir. Let me get this real quick. Ave, 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 ave. Oh, you can tell I've already had fun with this one. But let's clean it up and start from scratch. Clean out these Bollinger Bands of love. So right off the bat, this would be your critical support. If all hell breaks loose, $103 is hopefully as low as it'll go. It can get to 55. That's saying a lot for it. I don't think it will, but worst case scenario, 103. We'll go bottom to top here. So you have a critical area from here with a little volatility area sitting under it. So when I'm doing these lines, also keep in mind that they're just for your eyes to see, but there's no actual lines. All of this is going in ranges. So if I was actually doing this the smarter way, or the way that I just was taught originally, is you're supposed to do ranges on every little area like this, and that'll give you your buy and sell positions. Now I've gotten to the point that I don't have to add these little areas, but it does help, especially for new traders. You can get a lot of value from that. And then once you get used to just seeing the lines, you'll know that that line doesn't dictate exactly where price could be, but just a general range of where price should be going to. So you should be lenient with that line. Now, once you get to the top, you had a consolidation channel, technically all the way up to here. We almost got an impulse break out. If we would have gotten the impulse break, we could have seen price based on fib retracement from this line up to the top, which this love tapped the 6180. So that signaled that this move wasn't even that large of an impulse move. Ironically enough, it didn't even get to the 7860. We are finally getting to the 7860. So if this does come down and retest this area in this 190 range, 180 range, I'm probably going to add a pretty hefty size bag of Ave, to be completely honest with you guys, because that's going to be my critical buy value in terms of an actual Fibonacci retracement from a long-term trend move. This is one of the few projects that didn't actually break their trend, so this is still technically in a harmonic pattern for a Fibonacci retracement. As crazy as it sounds, it's true. You can see it through the lines. The 7860 landed perfectly on top of this critical area, which is exactly what you want to see. And right now, price looks like it's getting rejected from this channel. And from getting rejected in this channel, we're expecting price to come down and find a support somewhere here. So I really want to see something here. Thank you, Lee, for bringing this back up, because I actually missed this when I did my video on it the other day. I think we filmed the video before it got to this general area, so it wasn't as clear that we were rejecting from the channel. But now it's clear as day. You got your sell signal. We're still pushing down heavy. There's no green or anything showing up on here. So we're still going to be pushing down on Ave. The volume is pulling down as well, which is a great sign. The volume has been consistently low, which is what you want to see. It means that no one is really buying and selling Ave, especially the whales. They've just kind of left their money in there. It's all been market dictated or retail money getting in and out. But in terms of actual big volume flow, no one has really gotten in or out. Now, based on this previous impulse move, we could see Ave go all the way up to $1,000. That's why I'm saying if this gets to $200, I'm definitely going to buy that, because TP3, based on a move that hit its 7860, which is normal for a large impulse move. It's just funny because this was reading that this move was not large enough, that there was some other market force that was dictating price to start coming back up, and people were buying the hype. It could have been Mark Cuban hype, it could have been different things for Ave. But there was a hype and a big buyer interest around this $315 range. But this was all premature buys, because we could potentially get this 200 buy. And then you're talking about going, even if you hit TP2, that's a 4 times move. So if you want to flip, $1,000 bag into $4,000, there's an easy way to do it, is through Ave. This is definitely a bullish project. Everything points up for it. I had a video on YouTube about it the other day. Big fan of Ave. Mark Cuban and a lot of other people hold large bags of it and do Ave staking on purpose. There's a reason why it leads in DeFi and the decentralized world in general. So yeah, let's wait it out and see what happens. But ideally, we're hitting that 200 range and we're hitting that long button. What else we got? Give me some other fun ones before I get out of here. The TikTok algorithm is so weird, by the way, since we're just chilling and talking. Got TikTok bans and blah blah blah, and they're trying to shadow ban everyone, and the only way I can get people to view my stuff is to stay on live all day. So, run it. LTC, I see you. Going for the classics. The old dinosaur breed. Yeah, man, we got cut from Tiki Taki for a second. Damn, I think TikTok doesn't want to let me stream because I have the word crypto. Haha. We're gonna beat the system together. Yeah, guys, on YouTube, if you're watching this, ironically enough, I had the word crypto in my description on my live video, and TikTok kept taking my stream down, and they were just showing that I didn't have connection. And so I had to go and end my feed and change the name to not have crypto in it, and now they gave me my connection back. So we are back live. Yeah, Brian, I got you. Sorry I got cut off. TikTok is trying to silence the crypto people nowadays. So the second they saw TikTok, or the second they saw crypto in my title and my name, so changed it and we're back. LTC. I know it's been on Bitcoin for a while, or Coinbase for a while. I mean, this thing is still doing decently well too. It hasn't necessarily dropped. It's didn't really pop either. I mean, you had way more activity earlier in the year. Litecoin's kind of been down for a while. It's one of the ones that hasn't really picked up, but I'm sure on the Bollinger Bands, that's a great sign. Yeah, you're not really seeing that much volatility unless you get closer. From a daily standpoint, though, let's strip this down, trend line this. Well, you have a giant penis. That's always a fun thing to see. It's always one of the best setups. The old penis head and shoulders setup. So you have ball, ball, got the head, you get the point. It's a fun setup. So this is just a massive head and shoulders which triggered this downtrend. Now from that downtrend you are able to find a support hold around, oh, I'm doing Litecoin, Bitcoin too. Well, it still looks the same, so that's fine. So this is also hitting a critical support. Let me just go to a normal one and draw another penis on there. It's fine. That looks a little bit better. I was going to say that dominance chart looked like these other dominance charts I was working out earlier. So from the bat, you can see we had this lower trend that was snapped once the market started to come down a little bit. This would have been our trend line. You have that break, and then you have another downtrend right here, which has yet to be broken, with a support hold here. So you're getting close to the bottom of the descending triangle. Now it's always a bearish sign to see a descending triangle, but we could see a price break out of here and hold support on this line, but on the other side of this trend, that would still technically be considered bullish because you broke the trend line. Now if it doesn't break this trend line, we could see price go down to here around the $89 range, and even from this point, this is where this trend would continue to take us down. You don't really have a clear bottom trend. So we'll keep it as a descending triangle with the extra floor. So support 2, critical support. So this thing is still getting there. I mean, I haven't seen anything that would signal me to want to buy it yet. Even looking at the RSIs and everything, there's absolutely no volume on it. So that's kind of shitty. Definitely want to wait for some volume to get into it. The STO RSI isn't oversold, so that's positive. The RSI has failed to even touch the 50 in a while, so that would signal a bearish trend for me. All in all, Litecoin is not looking too strong. You got to remember that this thing is competing with Aave and Comp and Maker and all of those guys as well now, so they're taking a lot of that spotlight that Litecoin has been sitting on. Even though it's not exactly the same projects, they're still taking that limelight, so just keep that in mind with Litecoin. It's a dinosaur. Yeah, Polkadot. As soon as I became an issue, I started getting random new crypto talk on FYP. What the fuck? Yeah, so a lot of people, I'm trying to get my algorithm to read correctly as well now. I was doing really well in the crypto ones. Now I'm getting shadow banned on everything. So I'm trying to work on my digital assets algorithm and try to get around this thing so I can get more FYPs. But yeah, I mean, I've definitely taken a little hit in terms of viewers, but it's not about the viewers for me in general. I'm still going to put that content out, and I still want everything readily available. They'll figure it out at some point, and I'll get my peeps back, and I'll find a way to get more views back on my page. But until then, just riding the wave, doing what they give me. Heavily invested in Kava. I've been growing my fam as well, short term. Yeah, we can definitely peep Kava after this. Yeah, Maddie, the RSI is on Litecoin. So DOT is not actually, DOT's looking decent right now. It's not in the best situation, to be completely honest. Let me take all these charts off. So first thing I see is you would have a major support here for your impulse move, and then this is the other impulse support. Now you have here, which would be a volatility area, and you would have another volatility area here. Then I can take this and I'll make a rectangle so it makes it nice and pretty. Generally speaking, where price has been sitting was not a volatility area, so we're making our way down into a volatility area, hopefully. And now on the top side, you would have another area here with some volatility here. Price doesn't even like to stick around there. So you have a little downtrend going as well. Oh, not that one. Wrong line. You have a downtrend from the start of the candle. So everyone does that a little differently. I like to use the wicks as well and kind of put it a little bit higher because I'm trying to watch out for the fake outs. For example, if I wanted to line this here, this could have triggered as a good fake out and a potential support hold. But putting it up here, you can tell that it was a 1-2 punch. There was nothing that actually closed and confirmed outside of that trend area. So we were still hanging on and hitting resistance on this downtrend. We are working down to the first floor now. Hopefully at some point this can break over. If it doesn't break over, then we can go down to the $5 range. So DOT is one that I probably won't be poking with a stick until we get a little bit closer into this volatility area and I start to get more confirmation. The other side of it is if it was to come up again and hit a resistance and start to come down, I might get into a short position riding off of this swing. Anytime you're doing any trade like a short, the best ways to do it are if price was going up and then you want to catch a little bit of the downswing, or if you're hitting a trend and you're hitting a major resistance point and you see the confirmation on that resistance, then we can bite down. Damn, we played through the whole playlist. They didn't even have enough music for us. That's what I like to see. But with DOT, once it does actually want to get out of this gaga, we have gone up to $48. So you're talking about almost a 5 times move if we did get down to the $10 range, which isn't anything far-fetched at this point. If we get there, get up, pop it off. But keep in mind, when DOT is up here, it is a top 5 project, so it can push into the 40 billion, maybe $100 billion market cap range. But Binance is going to dictate a lot of that too. I think they're one of the I think they're probably going to be number 3 in my book in terms of the top projects. Bitcoin's going to hold the most market cap. Ethereum's going to hold number 2. At some point, they're going to flip Bitcoin, but I think Binance is going to hold that number 3 spot. And then 4 and 5 and all the way up to 10, we can argue about and think about who we want in that position. Some people are going to tell you eGold. Some people are going to tell you Luna, Vet, you know, the list go on, Sol. There's a bunch of good projects, good ecosystems that could be in that top 10 spot. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, especially considering that 90% of all these cryptos aren't even going to exist in 10 years. So it's pretty important to stick to the top 25 if you want a good chance of finding the next Facebook or something, for example. But looking at it in the hindsight, it's easy to say that. If you're in the .com bubble, it was a lot easier said than done to actually buy and sell and know which one is going to be Facebook in that time, because there's so many .coms. People are making money left and right, kind of like our shitcoin situation, and people were losing a lot of money in the .com era, but the smart ones were able to stick around and find these top projects that could outlast the .com bubble. And Facebook and Amazon and some of these other guys, not Facebook, but Amazon and Google and those companies were able to make it out, while Facebook did the kind of similar thing, but with the social media era. They weren't the first ones, but they were able to take what MySpace was messing up on and they made it better, and because of that they were able to take off. But most people were putting their money into MySpace and all these other social medias. They weren't really giving Facebook that credibility, and the next thing you know, they run the social media world. So Kava. Kava actually is not doing too bad. They weren't really affected that much by this whole dip. I mean, they had a nice retracement, but in terms of what they lost from the top, it went from $7 to $3. It's a lot better than most of these projects did. Now, bottom of the channel, top of the channel. If you really want to be nice about it, you could do this. This technically would be what the channel would have been. Now you have head and shoulders on the top, which triggered this reversal trend, which luckily our bot hit all 3 sell signals at the top of these head and shoulders. Thank you, bot. You to shit. So you had a triple head and shoulders, and this was what triggered this downtrend into the channel. Now we're making our way back down. Now the bottom of this channel is going to be a critical buy area. So here could be a nice potential buy-in because you've already had 2 buy signals, and it would be the bottom of the trend line and the channel. So it would be a more likely opportunity to get it bounce up or a large breakdown depending on what happens when it hits. So you want to wait for support confirmation, but all said and done, it is a good sign that it's staying bullish. That line also holds up. You can see we had some other activity that looks similar. That line holds up to this SR flip on this side. It was a resistance here, which flipped into a support. Couldn't hold. We finally hit this line as a support hold, which had enough gas to break us out. And then we found support on the top of the channel, which created the next impulse move. Had one more bit of gas, and then we've lost it so far. But the RSI is actually looking pretty decent on this project. The STO is in oversold area. We just broke under the 50, but it's not anything crazy for this to break back up over the 50 into bullish. The volume can go up a little bit more, but it's good that we've seen volume in the last couple of months. But we want this volume candles to start getting back up into this region around here, Once the volume goes up to here again, then we can start looking to enter some good trades. We're talking about an all-time high of $8, so a little bit less than a 3 times move from current price. And it was a nice little move that we had. Let's do some fib retracements and see how accurate it was with the harmonics. Yep, so we had a 7860 test here. Now we're going to drag this to here, which almost matches. And this looks like it had a 7860 test as well. Yeah, so you had pretty close to 78. So yeah, you did have a 7860 test on this one as well. Now if we move this up, because it's a harmonic, so because they're harmonics, if they work out and they sync, you can pretty much just move the fib to the next area and it should match almost evenly. So you can see the start and the finish, we match almost perfect. And when price retraced back down from this point, we broke under this trend. Because we broke under this trend on the fib retracement, that would signal a potential trend reversal. Now when price came back up and created a lower high, that would have been the main signal that we are going into a downtrend, because not only did we break the Fibonacci harmonic trend pattern, but we broke out of trend reversal and created a lower high and a lower low for that matter compared to here. So you have a low, then you have a lower low, and you have a higher high, and then you have your lower high. So all of those factors together would have been a smart signal that this was going to come back down. But luckily for Kava, it looks like it might be able to hold on this $3 range. Maybe dip down into this lower middle $2 range. At the worst I could see it getting to is going to be here. And that area is pretty consistent across the board as a support resistance area. So at the lowest, 2.5 would be a great buy-in area, but all in all, it is looking pretty strong. And with the take profits, if it was continuing, your take profit 3 would have been at a $10.8 range, so almost $11 on Kava. So it's definitely a solid investment. Alright, this is gonna wrap it up for me. We just hit 2 a.m. East Coast time. I appreciate all you guys for being here late and sticking around and being a part of the conversation. I had tons of fun. I'm gonna make sure that this is a more common theme, that I jump on here more and interact with you guys, answer your Q&As live, do some live TA, help everyone out, teach, share the wealth, share the education, all of that awesome jazz. And hope everyone has an amazing morning, afternoon, evening, depending on where